Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I wanted to talk all about sublimation. I have been doing sublimation for my small business for I think over 2.5 years. I started by buying an EcoTank printer and converting that to be a sublimation printer, and I started by making mugs, and I quickly expanded into so many other sublimation products, and I'm really excited to talk you guys through the sublimation process, what you can do with sublimation, how I converted my normal printer into a sublimation printer, and all of my supplies that I like to use for sublimation, and I will give you guys all the links to purchase it for your own business. So without further ado, let's just get right into talking about sublimation. So the first thing to think about when starting sublimation are the supplies. You will need a printer that can take sublimation ink. So typically what I've seen a lot of people do is they will buy an EcoTank printer. The one that I use is the Epson EcoTank 2800, and I converted that into a sublimation printer by buying a brand new printer and not putting in the ink that the printer actually comes with. Instead, I bought ink from Amazon, and it has to be sublimation ink. You cannot put regular ink into the printer because it will not work. It needs to be the specialized sublimation ink. I use a brand called Printers Jack, and I don't think they have it on Amazon anymore, but a lot of people use Hippo, and that's also another good brand. Once my ink runs out, I will have to try a different brand. So you will buy a sublimation ink from Amazon or any other sublimation store. All of my links for all the things I'm talking about in this video will be in the description, so you guys can check it all out. I do have an Amazon storefront collection where you can see all of my sublimation must-haves. But you will need a printer that you either convert into sublimation, and you can also look into the Sawgrass printers. I think they're an American company, but they actually sell sublimation printers that come with the ink and that already have ink in it, so you don't have to like convert it. So you could look into that as well. You will also need sublimation paper. You can't use regular paper, you have to use sublimation paper. The paper brand that I use is A-Sub, and I also get this on Amazon. They have so many different sizes of sublimation paper depending on what size paper your printer can handle. Mine can only do 8.5 by 11 sheets, so obviously I only buy that size paper. You will also need sublimation products that you can sublimate. There are so many different products that you can find on Amazon and other websites where you can get specialized sublimation products. Now, you can't just use any mug or any mouse pad to sublimate on. It has to be prepped for sublimation. So when you're Googling and trying to look for sublimation products, make sure to look for sublimation blanks on Amazon or on Google, and make sure that it is able to be sublimated. So I use sublimation mugs, and I've been using, and I will link where I get my sublimation mugs for you guys down below. They are a local company to me, and I know the owner, he is so amazing, but they are Canadian and it is really expensive to ship anywhere. So if you're local to where this company is, then I would suggest going to pick it up, but he's amazing and I love getting my mugs and cup supplies from there. I also buy a lot of my blanks on Amazon, so my car coasters, my wallet, my like phone wallets, and my mouse pads, I get all of those from Amazon. And I love the quality and how inexpensive they are, and the fact that I can get them in really quickly is also a plus. You'll also need heat tape. Again, you can't use regular Scotch tape. It will burn under the heat press because of how high of temperatures you need in order to sublimate and fuse the ink onto the products. Regular tape will burn. You need heat tape. Sometimes it's yellow, sometimes it's blue. I currently use the blue tape, but I have used the yellow tape in the past, and both work really well. With that, you probably want to get the tape dispenser that I think everyone who does sublimation has. It's just a pink one. I think you can get other colors too, but I've only ever seen the pink one. And basically it automatically cuts the tape for you, which is such a lifesaver, because when you're trying to tape a whole bunch of things for sublimation, you don't want to keep having to cut the tape. It's just really easy to take those pieces of tape that have already been cut for you. You might also want to invest in some heat-safe gloves when you're first starting sublimation, especially if you're doing cups and tumblers and things like that. You're definitely going to want heat-safe gloves so you can pick up the item and take off the paper and not burn yourself, because if you do touch the item when it is hot in the press or right off the press, you will in fact burn yourself and you will be in a lot of pain. And obviously you will need a heat press. Depending on what types of products you're going to make, the type of heat press you need will vary. If you're doing tumblers and cups and mugs, you will need a tumbler press or a mug press. I currently have a double mug press that I got from Vivor. I don't think they have that on the website anymore, but you could just look up double mug press and I'm sure you could find something that works for you. If you plan on doing things like car coasters, mouse pads, phone wallets or any other things that are flat, you'll need a plated heat press. And in today's video, I actually have something really fun to show you guys, which is the HTVRont automatic press. This was gifted to me and I've actually always wanted to try this automatic press because I currently have a clamshell heat press, and back when I used to make a lot of sublimation products, it was very difficult on my shoulder and the constant up and down motion really hurt my shoulder and my neck. So I'm really excited to try out this heat press with you guys and show you guys how it works. I actually have some mousepad orders to make today, so I would love to take you guys through that process. So those are the materials that you will need, and let's just get right into making your first sublimation product and trying out this new HTVRont automatic heat press. So I'm going to show you guys how I would create a design on a mousepad sheet. The mousepad artboards that I'm using in Illustrator are 11 by 8.5 inches, and this is just the size that works for me. I like to leave a little bit of overlap on the sublimation designs before I print them out, so that if the actual item, when I'm heat pressing it, it moves around a little bit, it's not going to create ghosting or not be fused on one edge of the actual product. So I'm going to show you guys how I create a seamless pattern really quickly. So I'm going to create a gingham pattern, and basically all I do in Adobe Illustrator is create whatever pattern I want, and then I'll go to pattern, make, and it will load a second and it will make my pattern for me. Then I'll take the shape tool and I will draw a shape, and then I will fill it with my pattern. And obviously this is way too big, so I'm going to make it smaller and just scale down the pattern a little bit. Whoa, that's too small. So it's gonna look like that. And then let's do one more pattern design. So I am going to create one of these holiday patterns that I drew into a seamless pattern. And we again are going to most likely have to scale it down. So let's draw that and click on that one. Oh, that's actually perfect. And I want to give it a different color background. So what I'm going to do is, I'm not really sure what color I want to do. Maybe a pink. I don't think that color. Let's maybe go for like a blue. No, that doesn't look good either. Maybe we'll just stick with, that's perfect. Okay, so once these are done, you want to take your patterns and you actually want to flip them. You want to invert them so that when you sublimate, it's going to be the right way up. And if you don't do that, your design is going to show backwards. So this is mostly important when you have anything with words or text, because the words won't show up. So in order to do that, I do this in Illustrator. I just use the reflect tool and I vertically reflect it, and I click OK, and now my pattern is reflected. For this gingham pattern, it's just squares, so I'm not going to reflect it, but you could if you wanted to. So basically I'm going to export these now, and we are going to get them ready for printing. Now with my sublimation printer, my settings are fairly simple, but I think every printer might vary. So I have the Epson ET2800, which is EcoTank, and I just like to click matte paper, and I make sure that the scale is at 100 so it prints with the actual size that it's intended to, and then I just click print, and I'll do that for all of the pages that I want to print. And sublimation takes a long time to print. For some reason, this EcoTank takes a very long time, so I'll probably be waiting for another like 5 to 10 minutes before we can actually get started on sublimating. So we're gonna open up the HTVRont heat press. So the box comes with instruction manual, which is great because I love instructions. It also comes with a nice Teflon sheet, which is useful when you are pressing anything that has to do with a heat press. Even if you want to dabble in DTF transfers or screen print transfers, you will love having a Teflon sheet to help seal your designs. So while we wait for the the sheets to continue printing, I wanted to talk a little bit about the blanks that I use and show you guys what they are. So these are the car coaster blanks, and these you can get on Amazon at like 100 a pack, so they end up being really inexpensive per unit, which is really good when you are making things for markets or your online store, even your Etsy store. So these are what they look like. I use these in my car, and they're really great when you want to bring maybe seasonal items, you draw a lot and you draw seamless patterns and you want to turn them into products, but you don't have a lot of startup costs at the beginning of starting your business to order in bulk or order custom products. So these are a really great way to get your artwork onto products to sell, and there's so many options for sublimation blanks. You could literally do everything. So these are the car coasters that I use. Again, all these links will be in the description. These are the mousepad blanks that I use. They come in individually wrapped plastic sheets that are really good for when you want to have them at markets or send them to your customers so they don't get ruined. What I do is I'll take them out of the plastic sheet, I'll press them, wait for them to cool down, put them back in here, and I will put a label on them when I ship them out or when I sell these at markets. Here is what my tape dispenser looks like. I have all this blue tape. This is blue heat tape in this dispenser. It's so useful. You just turn the knob and the tape comes out, and you can pull each tape and you get a piece of tape. We are going to set the temperature on our heat press. So for the mouse pads, they get heated at 375 Fahrenheit for 50 seconds, and the car coasters that we're gonna make get heated at 390 for 50 seconds. So we're gonna start with 372, which is for the mouse pads. So this is what the top of the machine looks like. I'm going to select the temperature button, and I'm going to increase this temperature to 372. $375. And you have to play around with the pressure of this machine because I'm not exactly sure what 50 pounds looks like, but I guess we're gonna find out. And for the time, we're gonna click on the time button and we're gonna increase the time to 50 seconds and click the time again, and now it's set. Before I start my projects, I usually like to start my machine and get that heating up because it does take like 5-10 minutes to actually heat up, especially if it is a brand new machine. The first time you heat it up, it's going to take a while. So while that is heating up, I'm going to get my sheets taped on to my blanks. So first we're going to start with the mouse pads, and then we'll make some car coasters. So I'm going to take all of my mouse pads out of their plastic, and I'm going to show you how I tape my designs on. So what I like to do is I like to lay the sheet face up on my desk. It just makes it a lot easier for me to press, and I will place my blank face down. And again, this is where the overlap on all the edges comes in handy because it will allow any room or a little bit of margin for error. Now I like to really tape my stuff down because it lets me make sure that it's not going to move around when I put it underneath the machine. So I am going to tape all the edges with my heat safe tape, making sure that I tape it down very well so we don't experiencing ghosting. Ghosting is when the ink doesn't transfer all the way, so it's faded and it's not fully fused into the fabric. Okay, now that the heat press is all heated up, I'm going to pull out the tray, which is so neat because mine doesn't have that and it's very, very hot. And the one tip I have for you guys when you're doing sublimation is you want to place the paper side face up. If you do it the other way, it's not going to fuse properly because the heat's not going to seep all the way into the paper and the fabric. So you want to do paper side up. So I pushed it in and now I'm going to click start. And it's pressed. pressing. So it's gonna go for the time, and then once it is finished, it's just gonna automatically lift. This is so cool. So we're gonna pull out the tray, and it's kind of hot, so we're gonna wait for it to cool a little bit. Then we're gonna peel it off. But there's our finished mouse pad. So I'm gonna press the rest of these mouse pads, and then we're gonna get on with the car coasters, and I'm gonna show you how that works too. So cool. They look so good. Again, it's really hot, but they look so good. Okay, let's press the last one. Put it back in the drawer. Push the button. And wait for her to press. So for the car coasters, it's pretty much the same thing. You will place them. Again, I like to print them with a little bit of wiggle room on the excess on the side so that we have some room for error. But I just place them all face down on the paper, and then I just tape them. Okay, so now that we have all of our designs taped on, we are going to put these in face up into our machine. We've heated it to the right heat. We'll push it in. And we'll wait for it to go. These are going to be really hot, so I'm going to peel them off while they're still on the heat press. So cute. They're currently curled just because they're super hot. Once they cool down, they will go back to their regular shape. Okay, so I did want to show you guys how I do my mug templates. When I used to do mugs all the time, I've had a lot of people who ask me how I print out my mugs perfectly aligned on a sheet of paper without having to cut each design out and tape them on individually. So I actually use a template that I bought off of Etsy, and I will try to link the exact template that I use in the description for you guys. But I actually just use this kind of like placement template, and what I will do is I will import my design onto Adobe Illustrator, and I will flip the design first, and I will place my designs in the area where it says left and right, and I will align it to be within the center as possible. And I usually like to have it closer to the edge of the design rather than the center of the mug so that they are aligned nicely on both sides of the cup. And basically I just do this, and then I group them together, and I try to fit as many on a sheet as possible. So sometimes I can fit up to 3 designs on a sheet, and that way I save paper and I'm able to print out a lot of them at once. So what I will do is I will just copy and paste the design, and I will try my best to fit as many sheets as possible. And this is how I get my mug sheets to all print out in one strip, and so that I could wrap them right around the mug instead of having to cut the designs out and tape them individually. So that's just a little hack, and I find that that makes the process a lot easier, and it also makes the design come out a lot clearer on the mug and perfectly placed almost every time. I think that our projects came out really well. It's always super fun to see my artwork on physical products. And like I mentioned before, sublimation is a really great starter avenue for small businesses who create designs, patterns, and illustrations, but who don't have the initial investment to invest hundreds or thousands of dollars on custom products overseas, or bulk products that have minimum order quantities sometimes of hundreds, and still want to make products with your own artwork on them. Sublimation is such a versatile thing. Like, I just made this mouse pad in literally like 5 minutes. And what makes this process even easier is the heat press that I showed you guys. I have never used an automatic heat press or a heat press with a pull-out drawer, and let me tell you, this was the easiest and most stress-free time I've had sublimating in a long time. If you guys have been watching my videos and vlogs for a long time, you will know that I went through a really busy point in my business where I was pumping out sublimation things over and over again, especially with my clamshell heat press. And that was really tedious. Not only was that tedious, every time I had to open the clamshell, I had to hold it down with my other hand and open it because it wouldn't stay on the table. So this HTVRont automatic heat press has been so amazing, and I'm so excited to use this, and I really want to bring more sublimation things to my shop now. But I actually really love this, and the HTVRont was so kind to send me their heat press to try out, and I am quite literally obsessed. So I love all the things you can make with sublimation. We made this gingham mouse pad in literally 3 minutes. I also made these super cute car coasters, and I'm so obsessed with these. These are so fun to bring to markets, and again, getting to see your artwork on products within minutes is so fulfilling and so fun. I love it. Like, this is my Christmas pattern. I'm so excited to bring these to my holiday market next weekend. Thank you to HTVRont for sending me this wonderful heat press for me to try out, and I actually really love this heat press. It's such a drastic change from the clamshell one that I was using before. If you guys have been watching my videos and seeing when I was busy during the holiday season 2 years ago and even last year, I was struggling with this heat press, and the fact of me having to hold the heat press down before I could open it, otherwise it wouldn't be able to open, was such a pain, and it made the process so much slower, especially when I was busy, especially during the holidays when I'm trying to pump out orders as fast as possible for you guys. I really love this heat press. It was such a seamless process. It heated up so quick. My other heat press takes a very long time to heat up, but this one, it heated up within literally like 5 minutes. And I love that it's automatic, and the pull-out drawer is just so amazing. It is so compact too, so it's gonna be great for storing away in my office because it's pretty short and not super huge. The fun thing about HTVRont is they are actually running a huge Black Friday sale. They're having a pre-sale from November 1st to November 20th, and then their actual Black Friday sale starts on November 21st and goes until December 3rd. So they are having a whole bunch of deals. I will leave the entire rundown of all their Black Friday deals in the description. But if you want to purchase this specific heat press on Black Friday, you can save up to $60 if you use the code CRAFT60. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you guys did enjoy learning about sublimation and how to start sublimation for your business. This is such a fun and easy way. This is such a fun way to create customizable products for your shop and have your designs on products within literal minutes. And it's also such a great option for gifting. There are so many different gifting blanks. Again, I will leave all my recommendations for supplies in the description. And I also have an Amazon storefront collection where you can look up all of my favorite sublimation blanks. So be sure to check that out. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!